Free credit monitoring, key factors impacting your FICO score. Free FICO score credit monitoring is basically for educational purposes. It's based on rules from Experian. It uses FICO score 8, and it might be different from other credit scores. Lenders may use different scores and other types of information in credit decisions. The information provided is updated monthly and might not reflect the most current data on your credit report. You're entitled to a free credit report by federal law from TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. You can get a free copy of your credit report every 12 months from each credit reporting company. Ensure that the information on all of your credit reports is correct and up to date. Your annual free credit report doesn't include your FICO score. You have to pay for that if you want it. Log on to www.annualcreditreport.com to request your free copies today. 3 key factors impacting your FICO score is lateness. Most negative activities remain on your credit report for 7 years, but bankruptcy remains for 10 years. Generally speaking, if you have no serious negative activity on your account, the better your credit score, because you are less of a risk to lenders. Your next factor is history. People who have a relatively long-established credit history generally have higher scores because they are less of a risk to lenders. Avoid opening a lot of new accounts in a short period of time. Our last factor is collections. Having a public record on a collection debt is a powerful predictor of future payment risk to lenders. If you satisfy a public record or pay off a collection, it's still part of your credit report and your FICO score will still consider it. Your credit picture is 5 areas: payment history, credit utilization, length of credit, credit inquiries, and open accounts. Let's take a look at the first one, payment history. Your payment history usually has the most impact on your credit score. Payment history is the percentage of payments you've made on time over the past 24 months. So let's look at a payment history example. You have 5 credit cards or 5 credit accounts. You have your mortgage, you have your car note, you have a major credit card, and maybe 2 department cards. That's 5 credit accounts. So you have 120 opportunities to pay on time over 24 months. So in our example, you made 120 payments on time out of 120 that were due. So your payment history is at 100%. 100% of the time on time. In our example, you have no derogatory accounts and you have no public records. Derogatory accounts include charge-offs, repossessions, foreclosures, collections, and bankruptcies. Public records could include bankruptcy filings, tax liens, and civil judgments. So here we have our bar graph. And you can see that you're in the green because you paid 100% on time. But you can also see if you miss as much as one payment, you can already be in the caution area. And if you make more than 5 payments, 4 or 5 payments late, you're in the red at 96%. But thank God, in our example, you're at 100%. Credit utilization. The lower your credit utilization, generally, the better your score. Credit utilization is the percentage of total available credit limits you're using. Here's an example of a credit utilization. Your credit card balance is $1,000 and your credit limits is $10,000. This makes your credit utilization 10%. You're using 10% of all the credit that you have available, and that percentage is based on open revolving credit card accounts that report a credit line to, in our example, Experian. Revolving credit cards allow you to carry a balance after a due date. So this isn't like a mortgage or a car payment. It doesn't include that. So here again we have a bar graph, and you fell in the 10%, which still keeps you in the green. The more credit you use, the more you fall into the caution area or the red. So you're at 10%. So never use more than 25% of your credit limits. Length of credit. In addition to the average age of your accounts, lenders consider the age of your oldest account and the age of your newest account. So length of credit is the average length of time since you first open your credit accounts and loans. So I have an example here of your average length of credit is 6 years, 8 months, and the age of your newest account is 1 year. And in my example, I'm just saying that the age of your oldest account is 10 years. And we have a bar graph here. And so you fall in the green at 80 months. So you can tell by the bar graph that the shorter period of time that you have credit, the more risk you are. And that's basically because you haven't proved that you can repay debt on time. Consider keeping your oldest accounts. Be thoughtful when you open new accounts. When you consider closing an account, think about the effect it will have on your overall length of credit. Be thoughtful when you open a new account too, because when you do, it will lower your average length of credit. Credit inquiries. In general, inquiries have a relatively low impact on your credit score. Credit inquiries is the number of times lenders access your credit report because you applied for credit or a loan. Credit inquiry example is here. You have one credit inquiry in the last 2 years, and you have 0 in the last 3 months, with a total of 1 account, credit inquiry. So you can see on our bar graph again that you fall in the green because you only have 1, but as you see, the more inquiries you have, you fall into the caution zone and then in the red. So when you generate a large number of hard inquiries in a short period of time, it could signal to the lenders that you might not be able to get approved for credit or that you have a great need for credit. So even though they're saying that it might not affect your FICO score, a lender could take this into consideration. Open accounts. Lenders consider both the number and the mix of accounts you have. Open accounts is the number of open accounts and loans that you have. So here's an open account example. You have 2 credit card accounts, 1 mortgage/home equity loan account, and then you have 1 installment loan account such as personal or auto or student loan, and then you have no other accounts open for a total of 5 accounts open. So on our bar graph, again, you fall in the green because you have 5 or more accounts open. And finally, these are keys to healthy credit. Your credit score is a measure of your credit worthiness. So you always want to pay on time. You want to keep your credit utilization low. Establish a long credit history. Don't generate too many hard inquiries, and monitor your credit regularly. The content of this slideshow has been taken from Chase Bank website, and I do not own the rights.